Hey, this is Austin Harman Mixes, and welcome to episode number 3 of the podcast. I'm joined with my friend Ajaki. Ajaki, say hello to everybody.
Hey, I'm Ajaki, worship pastor of House of Prayer in Tibido, Louisiana. Happy to be here.
Ajaki, thanks so much for joining the podcast virtually. It was such a pleasure to meet you down in Thibodeaux, Louisiana. Thank you so much again for joining the podcast. If you missed episode number 2, I talked all about my journey of going down to Thibodeaux to meet the wonderful team at House of Prayer, including Ajaki. What you may not know about that journey, because I haven't gotten the video out yet, is that Ajaki is a phenomenal singer. And I just want to play a clip real quick of him singing one of my favorite songs right now. Check this out.
I'm seated at the table of my King. I am poor yet in your mercy I am rich. In no way this world could never hope to give. Yes, I'm enough. Oh, Jesus, you won't deny a broken melody, a humble sacrifice. Oh, Jesus, we love your name, we bless your heart, and we give you praise.
Ajaki is a phenomenal singer. Ajaki, just start out by telling everybody, how did you get into singing and how did you get so good at singing?
Well, I thank you. I don't think I'm that good, but I appreciate the compliments, man. But I started off. I started off pretty late. Of course, my story was I wasn't definitely in church and anything that sort. But I come from a singing family. So when I got in, well 17, 18, I seen this guy up there leading worship in Alexandria's camp meeting that we go to, and he was singing, and the presence of God just fell in there, and I don't know, I wanted that, and so I just started, I had a voice, had a little something, and I just started stewarding it, making singing every day, and just going in the right direction, and now I'm just singing. So
Now I'm just singing, he says. With a voice like that, honestly, Ajaki, you probably could, I don't even know, it'd be like on NBC or something. Who knows? I don't know. What do singing people even do these days? Well, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing, Ajaki. Let's just start out. I shared with everybody on the audience kind of the perspective of going down to Thibodeaux. Just kind of share from your perspective, what was it like to have me down there? And, was there anything that kind of stuck out to you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to start with the story, how it actually happened. Actually, I ran into Austin through frustration that I wanted to get, our sounding good and get our guys trained, because of course, like every church, we have those good, loyal volunteers at the church, and you don't have like really the tools to really set them up right, in order to, to make the sound or lighting or anything better. So I have to rely on a lot of outside sources. So, and one of the guys that we that hooked up our sound, awesome guy. He's a pastor, so he's really busy. So that's how I came into, with Austin, that I wanted to reach out to him to where he can come down and do a training. And so what happened was I was frustrated. Our stuff was going wrong. And so I was like, man, I'm about to look up Allen and Heath. And then Austin video popped up. I'm like, man, who is this dude with all this crazy information about, like, it was so educational and really helped me with just the videos that was up there without me even meeting him. So I definitely I seen his like how happy you were with just joyful in doing what you do, you know, and it was very contagious. So I had a question. I seen somebody reach out to you, and you answered pretty swift, and I was like, man, this is crazy. So I reached out to him thinking I wasn't gonna get a reply. Of course, within minutes you replied, and it just went from there. And definitely when you came down, matter of fact, we still talk about it. Crazy. We still talk about it, how much we learned in such a little time, you know, of you being down here. And one of the guys said, man, we got to get them back. So we definitely, if you out there, if you looking for somebody to come in and do your sound and educate your people, the history, he's been doing this over 20 years. And I mean, it's very contagious. His spirit, you know, when he come down and do it with such excellence, definitely get in contact with this guy. We love him here in Thibodeaux.
Thank you so much, Ajaki. I really appreciate that. Just so you know, I didn't ask Ajaki to say any of that, so I appreciate that a lot. I had so much fun coming down to visit the House of Prayer team. Right. You know, I think I shared some of this in the last episode, but in case you missed it, I actually did live in Louisiana for a number of years whenever I was a young child, and coming back to Louisiana was especially special to me, just because, yeah, you remember some things and you come back and you're like, hey, yeah, I remember that. But the most special thing about coming back to Louisiana was that Southern hospitality. You don't get that in the East Coast. And I was very surprised and happy to be back in Louisiana, where everybody's nice and everybody knows how to eat Cajun food. So very fun. Next question for you, Ajaki. Tell me, what was the one takeaway, if you could choose any, about the training that we did? You know, what was the one thing that stuck with you?
The one thing that stuck with us is how easy it is. And I guess when you look at this big old car, and you like, man, I mean, I got this car. How do you drive it? And we don't know how to do it. We know how easy it was, you know. And you came in, and the thing that we took away is that we didn't know how to EQ, how to look for imperfections within the sound and how to take it out. And how, you know, of course, you use so much in that in the Allen and Heath Council, that you really educated us in that, how to use it, how to make it quality sound, how to take out all the high, all the, you know, the lows, and different like singers. It was cool about just different singers, female vocalists. You got to put certain things in there to make it sound good, or even guys with the take out. You know, it was really cool. It wasn't just you came in, you fixed it, you did it, you fixed it to where it worked for you, but you fixed it to where it worked for us. Even putting in the effects and the reverb, and how you packaged it all together. Now we don't have to fight and do it individually. Like, we was able to, you know, to do all that, and man, it made us so confident in what we do, and we understand now about sound. So that was my biggest takeaway, was that how it all worked.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Shifting gears a little bit, just because I don't want to ask Ajaki any more questions at this point. You've been so nice and said so many nice things about me. I do want to hear a lot more about you, Ajaki, and your journey. One of the things that I think is cool about being able to get out into the world and to meet different people is that behind every microphone or behind every console is a person. And, you know, that person is using their gifts. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, to glorify the kingdom or to build the church. And one of the things I appreciated about Key was that Key's infectious personality had, you know, drawn some really good people around. But he was also super talented, right? And there were some guys that drove in from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Key, tell them how far Lake Charles is.
Man, that is a 3-hour drive. I had even one of the guys, he actually came from Beaumont, and the other one picked him up from Beaumont, Texas, and drove down from Lake Charles.
We're about to offend a lot of people on the interwebs, but Beaumont, Texas is a dump. It's such a dump, dude. But okay, so they drove from Beaumont, then to Lake Charles into the Thibodeaux, 3 hours. And why did they make that drive, Key?
Man, they just love. I love being around people that love God. They love serving in ministry. With kindred spirits. Coming from one mind is to serve God in the kingdom, to edify. His kingdom. So they came down with some good friends from back in the day, and called them. We need some people to come down and give us a hand here in Thibodeaux, and they loved the place, so they came, man. It was pretty fun.
Phenomenal musicians, and one of them, what's his name, Landon, I think, right, Key? Brought his brand new, all new Nord. I think it was a Stage 4, right? The brand new, brand new keyboard. It just sounded phenomenal, of course, but. Anyway, so that was a phenomenal thing too. I think it really speaks well of House of Prayer and also of Key. Key, thank you for being a place where musicians can find space to use their talents to glorify the kingdom. So, question for you, Key. What is your favorite song to sing right now?
Man, favorite song to sing. I think my favorite song to sing is I don't know. I've been really jamming out to the Maverick album, Broken Melodies and Cost. Just that stuff right there. I really don't like to sing any music, like singing any songs, but I love I have my go-to, whereas my my prayer songs, Alpha and Omega, of course, Israel Heart, and that's one of my all-time favorites. Worthy, also with some guys, Draylen Young. I love to sing a lot of his Child of God and James Wilson, a lot of his stuff, man. I love those guys.
Nice. Okay, Key, are you going to sing when we're in heaven one day?
Man, I am going to sing with Heaven's Choir, man. I'm going to be one of them billions of numbers, man.
I sure hope so. Yeah, that's fantastic. Even as an audio guy, I actually have some favorite songs to sing right now. It was actually a big pleasure to mix Broken Melodies. When I came down, I actually was mixing broadcast because your regular front of house guy was actually mixing front of house and doing a killer job. So I was helping out in the broadcast area, and it was a lot of fun to mix Broken Melodies. So definitely a really good song if you haven't heard it, Broken Melodies by Maverick City Music. Now, it's time for some action here. So if you have a favorite song, leave that favorite song down in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, or send me an email, sales@thepen.group. Also, if you've made it this far, hit that like button. Key and I would really appreciate that a lot, because Key has taken time out of his day to help me record this content. So show your appreciation to Key by hitting that like button. And if you see I'm wearing this shirt, that shirt is the official Austin Harman Mixes merch. Funnily enough, this shirt I'm wearing was actually ordered for the House of Prayer team, and it did not come in on time. So I have the House of Prayer merch in the house that I have to ship out. So House of Prayer, you're getting some free Austin Harman Mixes merch. It's coming your way very soon. Also, the official Austin Harman Mixes hat available if you order at the time of this recording. Unfortunately, it won't be in there in time for Christmas, but we'll still get you taken care of as quick as we can. Now, tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a worship pastor. We, as audio people, can find ourselves at times kind of at odds with the people on stage. And a lot of times that's not necessarily intentional. It's just a factor of some natural tension that exists. So can you tell me, what's your perspective from being a worship leader, worship pastor on, trusting your team that's behind the desk and behind the production desk to do the right things on a Sunday morning?
Oh, man. Well, I want to start off with saying, I have such a an amazing team. Actually, when I go out and I sing different places, it made me miss and want to be home more, knowing that the team that I have back at home. So it kind of made me a homebody. I have like one of my guys. I call him my right hand. I'm actually his right hand. Joe Babin and Sierra, his wife, his lovely wife. Me and my wife, we team up and we really, lead the team. And so, I mean, I love how my team. We don't have any. We don't have no superstars mentality, and everybody that come here, it's like that. It's I believe that we attract that type of mindset, that we only doing this for the glory of God, because God shares his glory with no man. And the giftings that he has given us, is all for him. So we definitely don't want to put that give that to ourselves, because it's all glorifying God. He gave it to us. So why not completely give it to him? But I love like I said, I love the team that we're with, and just their humility and their skill. Like, we come from a very rich heritage of worship. A worship leader. There was only 2 worship leaders in the history of House of Prayer here. And I'm the third one. And I mean, they made it easy for what we do. I actually inherited this this thing, so they made it easy for me.
That's fantastic. And real specifically, what would you say to worship leaders that aren't as thankful for their team? Maybe they find it very frustrating, and they feel like their production team or their audio people are just not quite getting it. What do you say to them?
I would say to them, what I find a lot of times is really it could be a disunity. Really don't have quite a leader in the team, and I would say to that person, be what you want it to be. Be that person that you want it to be. Be that follower that you want following you. Be that person. Right now we didn't have the person for the sound, for the just a lot of stuff that we didn't have in production. So I became whatever the need is. If it's vacuuming the stage, if it's cleaning out a room, if it's just be whatever you want that team member to be, and definitely, I say pray, get into the Word, let God restore that love for to even change your perspective of why you do it. That it's all about His presence, and I have this mentality. I don't look for fame or fortune in what I do. I just want to make sure that every person I come in contact with is going to make it to heaven with me. So
that's amazing.
If I do that, and I make sure that everybody's going to make it to heaven, because at the end of the day, all of this stuff, all this sound, all of this equipment that we have, all the voice, I mean, everything that we have is going to be done away with. Heaven and earth will pass away, but God's word shall remain. And so I put my mind and my affection into those things, the things that's more eternal than temporal, because one day the microphone gonna be burned up. It's gonna be gone, man, and we're gonna be out of here. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said a word there, Key. Dang, man. That was you might as well mic drop. Everybody that you come in contact with want to make sure they get to heaven. I think that speaks so much about the approach that you have to take with your team, especially as a worship pastor, worship leader. I once heard it said that a good barometer of your leadership is how your team reacts whenever you approach them. And I think that is, as somebody who was previously a production director at a congregation, now obviously doing audio content and so on, I think it's really good to test yourself and to ask the question, when I walk into the room, am I enabling people? Am I lifting them up? Or is everybody clenching down like this, ready for the next situation to come? And I think that as a leader, you feel pressure sometimes to really get that right. And because sometimes you do have to, lead with a sense of firmness, and sometimes you have to lead with softness. And one of the things I observed with being around Key and the House of Prayer team is that when Key walked in the room, everybody broke out in a smile because they all were happy to see you. So I think that you truly do live out what you just said, and your team feels that. So thanks for sharing that.
Appreciate it, my friend. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next thing. We're filming this the week before Christmas. So I want everybody who has made it this far in the podcast to say, Key, why on earth are you filming with Austin Harman Mixes the week before Christmas? Are you going crazy doing Christmas prep? Tell me what you guys are doing for Christmas.
Man, we are putting together, I ain't gonna say we, I'm gonna say my wife, Sierra, and Joe are putting together an awesome program with the rest of the House of Press staff. Are putting together a Christmas production to where it really just enhance the reason why we celebrate the Christmas holiday. And as for, that's because of Jesus coming down to redeem mankind back unto himself. And so that's what we want to just, because this is the only opportunity that we get. Some people that don't even come in, ever, all year. They come to this one service. And Matt, actually, we have quite a few people in the church that came in and watched the Christmas service, and they became lifelong members of the church. And they gave God the yes, at a Christmas service. So that's why we just preparing to change hearts and sing about God's goodness on a Christmas day. So Christmas Eve, actually.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. Are you singing "Oh Holy Night"?
Man, I am not. I'm doing a song by Phil Wickham.
Okay.
From a Cradle to the Crown. The new forget the name of it, but it's such a good song. It's a song by Phil Wickham, and and it's hard following up to that guy singing that song. But
Phil Wickham is he's a beast. Actually, at the local house that I mix at, we are opening with a Phil Wickham song that is called "Joyful, Joyful," and there's a big moment at the end of that song when it just goes to voices on the album. And the way that we do it at our house is we just blast some guitars right there during that big moment of the song. And there's actually a video of me on the channel mixing that moment. I did a whole rehearsal video and then a video of me actually mixing that set from last year's Christmas service. So if you want to see that, check out the description. Or if you're listening to this on the podcast world out there, check it out on my YouTube channel. Phil Wickham absolutely rocks. Next question for you, Key. What do you want for Christmas?
Man, Christmas, man. I want my family in good health. That's really all I have. I want because I've been given so much, man. I wouldn't mind some nice fragrance, some cologne, some Jordan 1s. I'll put that on. Nah, man, I just want to be, healthy, man. Just want my family to be healthy and happy and everything. So.
Wow, that is so wholesome. What was the fragrance that you said?
The fragrance, man. Some of my favorite fragrances. I love the Tom Ford ombre leather.
Okay.
Some 1 million, man. That was my wedding stuff.
Oh, nice. I'm a big fan of fragrances myself. Kind of a tangential conversation here, but I may or may not have purchased something in the fragrance category for my wife for Christmas. But anyway, okay. So kind of moving back the conversation a little bit more towards Thibodeaux and House of Prayer. Explain to the podcast world, Key, about where Thibodeaux is and kind of the people who show up to House of Prayer.
Tibido is it's down south. We're actually south of New Orleans, about an hour south of New Orleans, and we are maybe 40 minutes away from the Gulf. I mean, it's at we're not that far. You can take a boat and probably get there a lot faster. But we're south of New Orleans. We the Bayou country. New Orleans is not Bayou. This is Bayou. So when you hear Bayou, you're talking about Houma, all the Bayou areas. And it's a homey place. It's a place where family is family. Where you walk into a place and you don't meet a stranger. Everybody knows everybody. And
that's fantastic.
So yeah.
So I shared on episode 2 that Thibodeaux, if you draw a straight line from the city to the water, like the Gulf, it's like 20 miles, 22 miles away. And when you're there, if you breathe in real deep, I swear you can smell seawater. I don't know if you feel that way, but I feel like I could when I was there. Even though it was the middle of December when I was down there, it was almost 80 degrees and warm. So we were very happy about that up here in snowy Ohio. But yeah, that's great. So Key, one of the things too that's interesting about Thibodeaux is Thibodeaux and Houma are kind of a combined statistical area. Thibodeaux is separate from Houma, but in the deep south in Louisiana, there isn't a lot of occupiable places geographically speaking because there's so much water everywhere. And rather hilariously, if you look up the word bayou, do this on Wikipedia, by the way, if you look that up, the Wikipedia is pretty generic about what that word actually means because nobody's actually really sure what a bayou actually is, which is funny. But Thibodeaux and Houma are kind of a town that's on a stretch of land in between a bunch of different bayous and lakes and swamp. And what I love so much about what's going on at House of Prayer is that despite being in really deep south, in the bayou, in the swamp, south of New Orleans, you're still making a big difference with the people who are there. And I think the combined statistical area for that town is about 50,000. Is that right, Key?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Okay. And then how many people are showing up on a weekend, if you don't mind me sharing or asking?
Man, we have from a week to I think I'm not sure. I know we like in the 9. I think we have over 1,000 something that claims to House of Prayer is their home church. How many people show up? I think is around anywhere from 800 to about 9 something there on a week to week basis. But I'm not sure about those.
That's wild. Just think about that. I mean, you're talking about a town of 50,000 and a significant percentage of people. I'm not a math person. If I try and estimate the math, I'll embarrass myself. But 90%, not that many, but a significant portion of people are coming to the church from the town. I mean, that's unbelievable. And I think that speaks a lot to, what's going on in House of Prayer. So, okay. Couple of more questions for you, Key, and then I'll let you go. Thanks so much again for joining the pod. Next question is, when you go to New Orleans, and say it like they do down south, New Orleans, what do you do when you go?
Man, when I go to New Orleans, that's me and my wife. That's me and my wife's city. Of course, I have a lot of my family there live there in New Orleans and Slidell, so that's definitely like home to us. And our favorite place when we go down there, we like to we get there around about 11 o'clock, eat some brunch, go to Court of Two Sisters, check out some of those, walk downtown. My favorite is the music. When you go to the French Quarter and you walk down, Jackson, and behind it by the church, between Jackson and the church, there's like this slew of musicians, jazz, all sorts of different names of instruments I have never seen. He out there just playing, beautiful singing. That's some of my favorite stuff. Go catch a beignet, and some good food, So there's a lot of good Creole food, New Orleans food out here that we just like.
When I came down to Thibodeaux, I actually had to fly into New Orleans, and I did actually make it to the Friends Quarter because I had to work on some things before I headed down to the church. And while I was in the Friends Quarter, I observed some of the coolest street music I'd ever seen, and also several people walked up and like put their hands on me and like grabbed me and stuff. I was like, oh, the New Orleans is definitely a different place cut from a different cloth. But yeah, that's good. Tell me, Key, what's your favorite thing to eat in New Orleans? One dish.
One dish. Oh man, you making that hard, Austin. You just can't say one. What is good? Okay. I love some type of crawfish. I love crawfish etouffee with some type of blackened fish.
Oh yeah,
something like that. I'm gonna say you have to try New Orleans red beans and rice and some gumbo. You come down. You don't find gumbo great. You don't want to go to a restaurant and eat gumbo. The best gumbo you ever eat in your life is in somebody's home. So, Austin, next time you come, I'll make you some gumbo.
Okay, bet. Let's do it. Now, just one more little bonus question here. Like, probably 2% of all of America knows what an etouffee is. And those 2% of people live in Louisiana in that area. Tell the world, Key, what the heck is an etouffee?
But an etouffee it's like a creamy sauce. Some people, I don't know, some people like to make it red. They would fight over if it's a red sauce or if it's a brown gravy. But I love my crawfish etouffee. Is like a sauce, a very thick sauce over rice, of course, with all your, they call it the onions, the celery, the bell peppers. And so you saute all that, and it just you make a good gravy. You could even do a roux, and you put your crawfish in it, and make sure you season it well. It's the type of season. Gotta be some Cajun seasoning.
Just dump it all in there. It'll be a good time, right?
You can't just dump it. It all mixes at different times and cook it all separately.
That's fantastic. And gumbo, by the way, depending on who's making it, is difficult to describe too, actually. It's funny. I didn't expect what is etouffee to be a difficult question, but come to think of it, it's actually hard to describe what that is. Gumbo, on the other hand, at least in my experience, is a very thick, almost soupy-like dish that typically has some kind of meat, some kind of sausage, in some cases shrimp, some cases vegetables, and it's very thick. It's very difficult to describe the taste of it, but New Orleans gumbo is really dark in color. The gumbo my mother used to make when we lived in Louisiana years ago was very light in color. Key, how do you make your gumbo?
Man, I don't know. I like the middle. I like a darker. It's kind of in the middle. It's not like when I like it dark. I like it darker. Especially my chicken sausage gumbo. I find my chicken sausage gumbo is not as dark as my seafood gumbo.
Okay.
So it's depending on how long you cook the roux. The roux is the color of the gumbo.
Well, Key, thank you so much for your time on this podcast. If you enjoyed episode 3 of the podcast, please subscribe to the podcast, to the channel. Leave a comment. If you have a question for Key, leave a comment, and we'll negotiate getting Key to answer said questions. If you want to check out the church that Key leads worship at, that's House of Prayer. I will link the YouTube channel for House of Prayer in the description below for you to find it. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you, Key, and the team of House of Prayer. I am certainly looking forward to getting back to Louisiana to see you again. Hopefully it's not too long. If you're out there and you need help with your church or with your audio, your live stream, if you have any problems, reach out to me. You can send me an email at sales@thepenn.group. You can go to our website, austinharmanmixes.com. You can reach out. We will try to get back to you as quick as we can. We are tasked with building the church. We really believe that we can make a difference out there. Thank you so much for listening. God bless. Keith, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
All right. Thanks, everybody. That's episode number 3. We'll see you next time.